Good morning, I guess. I figured I would give vlogging my week a try and see what happens. So it's Monday. I usually take Mondays off, or I take them a little easy from like work related stuff, my freelance stuff, and my actual income driven stuff. How the hell do I describe that? I always get confused, I guess, on how to describe that. I could say like my freelance work or whatever, the stuff that pays my bills. Monday is usually the day that I just take off from that and do my own thing. So that's what I'm gonna do. I have been having conflicting feelings on the name of this channel since my last video. I don't think I'm gonna change it because like you can do lots of things around the cauldron, but also I have a podcast with the same name that is completely different. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen with that. Anyway, today my plans so far is to make another cup of coffee, and I'm gonna sit down with my kiddo and she's gonna work on her math lessons for the day while I go through and figure out what the heck I'm gonna do with my shop. I have gotten some requests from people that don't live in the United States to offer shipping. But the problem with that is the way my shop is set up right now is that it's not feasible. It's really difficult to figure out. So as much as I hate Etsy, and as much as I have flip-flopped back and forth between Etsy and like my own self-hosted shop, I think I'm gonna have to go back to Etsy just for the sole purpose of being able to offer my stuff to everybody that wants my stuff. So I think I'm gonna work on that a little bit today. I don't think I have any pictures to take, which is fine. I just need to start the process of transferring things and doing drafted listings until I'm ready to fully like finish that process. So we'll see, but first I have to get dressed. So I was sitting on the floor, everything was, I was working on my shop, and now I'm just exhausted because I'm having one of those mental health days where like all of a sudden everything feels extremely overwhelming. I can feel like in my chest, I need to take a break and just like decompress somewhere, and then I think I might just end up crocheting at least until I have to cook dinner. And then we have the realtor coming over this evening to go over some information for the house, and I don't know, but at this point I have reached like the height of what I can manage right now, so I'm gonna take a break. The next day, we needed to be out of the house. It's days like these when needing that extra break becomes very apparent. Everything happens all at once, and though there are breaks in the chaos where I can breathe, it still gets difficult. This is why I bring things like crochet with me wherever I go, because not only is it something I enjoy doing, it's also something that helps keep me in the moment and keep me grounded. And this has been extra necessary through all of the chaos of moving and trying to figure out housing stuff. But it's always a good reminder to take a breath wherever you are, see the things around you, and look at the beauty and the joy of the living, breathing world that we live in. I have therapy this morning. And while I love my therapist, like she's great, I'm not looking forward to our session because there's so much bullshit that I need to talk about. And that just like, yeah. And I've got homework that I haven't done yet because I've been too busy and too scattered. And honestly, it's really hard for me to prioritize the homework that she gave me, like, yeah, let's let my inner child write letters to my parents so that she can have a voice, right? I have a little more than an hour until my therapy session, my therapy appointment. So maybe I can get some of that done. I was wanting to turn it into this whole like releasing ritual, but I don't think I am in the right headspace for that right now. So that's not going to happen. I think just the letters are going to have to suffice for now, and maybe I'll hold on to them and release them later. Inner child work was never something I wanted to do. I have a lot of missing pieces of my memory from my childhood, things that are probably best left forgotten. My therapist thinks that letting my inner child have a voice right now through everything that I'm going through personally will be very healing for me. I see the point and I understand the purpose, but I'm struggling with how to put these things together. It's hard for me to put words to the feelings that I want to express, and the anger and the rage and the hurt that I have. So one letter is done, but I still have one more to go. That went about as well as I thought it would. And now I don't know what to do with myself the rest of the day. God, I look terrible. Yeah. So, that was fun. So I'm trying to work, and I am having one of those like anxiety ADHD moments where this idea is playing over and over and over in my head right now. So I'm just gonna sit here and like verbally talk through it and see what happens. And I actually brought my tarot cards outside with my journal. I'm gonna do a reading and journal a little bit to see if hopefully I can get it out of my brain, because it's bugging the shit out of me and I can't concentrate on work. And if I can't concentrate on work, then I'm not doing my best, or the best that I'm able to do right now. So these thoughts are about rebranding. Hopefully you can hear me okay. The microphone is like attached to my phone. If not, I'll fix it in post-production. Dirty. All of these thoughts have to do with rebranding. And I know I talked about this in one of my other videos. And it's like, it's hard because I want the channel to be me. You know, I don't want it to just be Megan the Witch or Megan the Pagan. I want it to be me because I'm so much more than witchcraft and paganism. There's so much more to me and what I do and what I enjoy. The problem that I'm running into is the idea of rebranding and changing my channel and like changing the name and like, do I just create a whole new channel or do I just keep this one? Because many of you from my previous video have come out in support of like, you know, that's great. You want to rebrand, you want to do more of what makes you happy. Go ahead and do that. And I understand that the audience that is here for me, that enjoys me and what I have to say and the things that I do, aren't going to have a problem with me like rebranding and doing more of the other things that make me who I am. But also there's like 8,000 people here so far, and I know that not everybody watches my videos, which is fine. So I'm struggling with the idea of like, do I create a new channel? Do I leave Round the Cauldron alone, leave it up here just for like the podcast and all of the witchy stuff, and create a new channel, which I would then have to grow and whatnot? And that's kind of where I'm at right now, is do I keep what I have and keep it the same? Sorry, a little lizard just like jumped from one chair to the other and distracted me. Do I keep what I have and leave it as it is, use it for the podcast upload, which that's a whole other can of worms that my exhausted brain just can't figure out right now. Honestly, the idea of keeping up the podcast is anxiety inducing right now, and I know it's just because I'm burnt the fuck out on witchcraft and paganism. And I mean, if you look at it from like my perspective, I guess, my job, literally the thing that pays my bills, is all about witchcraft, paganism, polytheism, and the occult. And it has nothing to do with all of the stuff that I do here online. It's, you know, it's completely separate. But then I also have all of the stuff that I do online. I've got the channel, the podcast, the website, my membership program, my shop. Like, I've got all of this stuff, and it's all witchcraft, paganism, work stuff all at once. And it's exhausting. The podcast, I think I want to keep the podcast as it is, because I do still enjoy speaking to people, you know, outside of what I do, sharing different authors and creators and people online that are in the witchcraft and spiritual sphere. And the podcast is just once a month. I don't have to worry about an upload schedule because it stays the same. But I am seriously considering just like, I don't know, I don't want to scrap my website because it's got a lot of stuff on it. But I don't have the passion and the motivation right now to put my heart into it because it's being taken up by so many other things. On the other side of that, web hosting is expensive. It's like $200 a year for my hosting, my domain name, and all of the stuff that goes along with it, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot of money. But when you only make $20 or so from YouTube a month, you know, everything that I make from the podcast and YouTube and my membership gets put right back into everything else that I'm already doing. So it's just, it's a lot. And if I were to even create a whole separate website, I don't know what it would be, because I enjoy blogging sometimes. I definitely prefer writing over sitting down and creating an informational video. Like this kind of video is cool because I'm just sitting here and I'm talking and there's no script and it's just free form of my thoughts, right? But the informational stuff gets more difficult for me to put together when I'm doing a video because I have to remember certain things and I have to make sure I say things correctly, and you know, I've got all of my sources and stuff, and it's much more scripted and much more difficult for me to manage mentally. I have no idea what's going to happen at this point, and I know also, like, I'm in a very big transition period in my personal life anyway. We're trying to move. I hate it here in Florida. We're trying to sell the house. The housing market is a nightmare right now for people buying houses, but also for people selling houses. So it's obviously taking longer than we would hope. Also, there's the fact of, like, this house isn't just mine and my fiance's. We own the house with my parents. So there's more to it than just I'm selling a house. And it's just been a nightmare. I'm ready for it to be over, and it's exhausting. And then on top of all of this other stuff, I am healing in therapy and going through so many different things emotionally that have just made me so tired. So tired. So I think I've settled on a shop name, at least, changing my shop name to be more inclusive to myself and not just offering witchcraft or spirituality focused creations. I have an idea for a channel name, but I'm not getting too far into that right now because I think a lot of what this is for me is just I need to get it out there and I need to say it and I need to process it, and saying it is a way for me to process it. So I hope this helps. And I just rambled for like 8 minutes, and now I'm going to pull some cards. This is my traditional manga tarot. I'm not even going to ask a specific question. I'm just going to take a second, breathe, focus on like the situation and what I need to know about the situation, and just get some guidance from the higher powers or from my higher self, or I don't know. I haven't given Bridget any offerings in so long that it would feel disrespectful for me to ask her for help. So I don't know who I'm gonna ask. I think I'm just gonna ask myself and maybe get some inner wisdom from myself. So I know in my previous clip or whatever, sometime in this vlog, I have talked about being torn between the idea of starting a whole new channel or just repurposing this one. And I think I've made up my mind. I think I've decided to start a whole new channel because Around the Cauldron isn't going anywhere. Around the Cauldron is still a podcast. Around the Cauldron is still my website. But I want YouTube to be more of me, less of just witchcraft, if that makes sense. I'm trying to set up my hookah, and it's not cooperating very well. So I think that's the decision that I've made. It's nerve-wracking. It's making me a little anxious, the thought of starting over with YouTube. But I think it's going to be a good thing. And if I change my mind, I can always come back to this channel, because this channel is not going anywhere and the podcast isn't going anywhere. There are still going to be videos uploaded to this channel, but they are most likely just going to be once a month whenever the podcast goes out. I have yet to decide what I'm doing with my membership here around the Cauldron and the forum. I'm not sure if I have the headspace and the mental capacity to keep up with everything. But I haven't made that decision yet, and I'm actually going to be talking to my members sometime soon-ish. Whenever that happens, I have to make a post in the forum and a poll and see what happens there. But I think that's what I've decided. The idea of starting a new channel, the idea of starting over and having it be more me, where I don't feel like I have to be as scripted and I don't have to be as, not necessarily like I put on a persona, but I definitely feel that way when it comes to the witchcraft channel, when it comes to Around the Cauldron, because I tend to take on a more professional level of speaking, I guess, and that's not me all the time. Like, I want to come on here and be my goofy, silly self because I'm just goofy. The word that comes to my head is goober, because that's what I call the dogs when they're being silly. It's what I call my kid when she's being silly. It's like, oh, you're such a goober. And I'm excited about the idea of not limiting myself to what I can and can't create, because I feel very boxed in here on this channel. But that's because I've created the niche. I have put myself in this box with kind of, the subjects and stuff that it has been. So follow my new channel if you want. It is going to be in the description below. Oh, the sun's coming out. I can't guarantee what kind of content I'm going to put over there, but it's definitely going to be more real life stuff, more stuff that makes me happy, more stuff that makes me want to be here more often. Because through the whole process of making this vlog, it's been like, oh, I want to sit down and talk about this. Oh, I want to show everybody this. And that's what I want to bring back to my channel. It's what I want to bring back to my creation. So before the sun decides to blind me anymore, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here for now. The podcast isn't going anywhere as of yet, so there will still be an episode coming out on the 30th of November. It'll be here on the channel. It'll also be on all of the podcast platforms. And then after that, there will be the December episode, and hopefully, that continues. I just got to find more guests. I got to find more people to talk to. Anyway, yeah, that's that, I suppose. Come follow me along my new channel, linked in the description. I'll also put it up here somewhere, and I will catch you over there. Bye for now.